let's talk about Journeys Afar, the Ketsueki. It's a brand new upcoming game from designer Travis Chance and published by Indie Boards and Cards, and it's hitting Kickstarter on October 14th. As soon as you open the box, Journeys Afar draws you into its colorful, beautifully rendered Japanese-inspired worlds and invites you to embark on adventures along the Blood Road, a multiversal highway connecting each world and enabling your character to, well, journey afar. Okay, so how does it play? In Journeys Afar, you and up to 3 other players will each choose from a collection of characters, each with their own backstory, motivations, and 3 different storylines you can progress throughout different games. But if you're not interested in following a story, you don't have to do that. Want to ignore your character's journey and just go on a cozy sightseeing tour across different worlds on offer? Go for it. Want to spend your time in the tea house to take side quests and spend your time completing those? You can do that too. Feeling up for a fight? The traveling Ronin is ready to take on your challenge. And the best part, you can actually still win this way. In true Sandbox Game fashion, Journeys Afar gives you a path you can always choose to follow, but adapts to you and the game you want to play. Regardless of your playstyle, you'll interact with the many special and sometimes world-specific locations and characters in the hopes of accumulating the most legend, which is this game's version of victory points. While you will get legend by pursuing your character's story goals, as I hinted at before, there are plenty of other ways to gain legend and emerge victorious. Let's dig into what you can do in these worlds a bit further. If you're in the mood for shopping, there's weapons, accessories, and other fun and fantastical trinkets on offer in the market. Low on funds? Delve into the mine for gold, silver, or the surprisingly useful glass. Just be aware that you may also find nothing but worthless dirt. As mentioned, the tea house is where you can accept new side quests to gain legend, money, or other rewards. At the shrine, you can curry favor with the gods by delivering offerings in exchange for immediate benefits and in-game scoring conditions. At the end of every turn, you are read an encounter card that gives you a choose-your-own-adventure style scenario. I absolutely loved this humor and silliness that were sprinkled into these often ridiculous situations. They strike a really good balance between cozy and adventurous. These encounters can also provide opportunities to gain benefits and improve your character. Even choosing the bad option never felt cruelly punishing, encouraging more playful experimentation and less anxious analysis paralysis. If the open-ended nature has you feeling a little uncertain, I understand. I'll admit, because the concept is so foreign to me, I was a bit uncomfortable at first. Where do I go? What do I do? And how on earth can I win? Well, this is where the character storylines here are really helpful, especially for first-time players. They help take the guesswork out of it by giving you a checklist of goals to progress your character's storyline if you'd like. And the really cool aspect of this is that by following along with your story, you will get to sample many of the activities Journeys Afar has to offer. Completing each chapter of your character's story is also a reliable way to earn legend and work toward victory. And as the game progresses and you become more familiar with what you can do, you'll feel more at home in these worlds, and it'll become easier to prioritize how to spend your turns in order to reach your goals, or even just interact with the world in a way that's more helpful or more fun for you. Now, since there are specific storylines for each character, you might be asking the question, what is the replayability factor for this game? And I think that's a great question to ask. We're all trying to make sure we're investing our money wisely when we purchase games. But it's also kind of difficult to answer because there are so many ways to play and enjoy Journeys Afar. But let's look how you can mix things up each time you play. First, each character, which is 6 in the base game, has 3 storylines. That's already 18 unique plays just to experience all of the narratives in the base game. Next, each playthrough uses a minimum of 3 unique worlds, even at 2 players. I think there's a solo game in the works, but I'm not sure how that works at this point, so solo players, keep that in mind. The worlds in play contribute their own unique cards to each card deck, so you won't always see the same spirits, encounters, Ronin, etc. This greatly affects the possibilities for each play, and on top of this, every world has its own special location. One features a maze where you can explore. It's kind of a light push-your-luck minigame. Another world hosts a casino where you can gamble your hard-earned valuables. One of the more complex worlds sees you racing to gain political favor with the 4 noble houses, likely earning a ton of legend in the process. Hint. Unless you're always choosing to play with the same characters and worlds, you can see how this can really change things up a bit. Still doesn't sound like enough? Then you'll probably be interested in the expansion that will introduce 2 new worlds for even more variety. And to top it all off, from my experience, the likelihood of everyone completing their storyline before the end of the game is actually kind of low. Maybe that's just me, but that was my experience. Completionists will want to replay a storyline to see them all the way through. Needless to say, your options for keeping this game fresh are plentiful. There is one caveat I want to call out here, though. If you're the kind of person who binges a game and plays it repeatedly without a break, you might start to learn some of the cards, especially if you frequently return to the same worlds. This is most impactful with encounter cards. You might find yourself remembering the choices and the consequences of those choices, and you may end up feeling less like you're learning to master the strategy of the game and more like you're just memorizing the game. In addition, the charm or humor of the game may kind of wear off if you're binging it and reading it through over and over. But I really do think this is dependent on the person. It's dependent on you, what kind of player you are, and what kind of experience you want going into it. Another thing I want to mention is player interaction, or really kind of lack thereof. Player interaction in this game is really indirect, like buying a card from the market before someone can get there, or engaging with an opponent and clearing it or moving it from its space before someone else can get there. There are absolutely ways you can strategize and be more cutthroat to prevent your competitors from getting what they need, but at the end of the day, Journeys Afar just has minimal player interaction without being a solitaire game. That being said, I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. It gave me the space to focus on exploring the world and accomplishing my goals rather than figuring out how do I defend myself and stay alive, or how do I attack someone else. To me, it felt like a really nice experience. If you strip it all down and reduce it to what it takes to win the game, it's all about figuring out how to do things most efficiently. Whether it's upgrading your character skills, gaining items, navigating maps, and gaining legend, I do love a good efficiency game, and I especially love that this game felt enjoyable even when I felt like I was very inefficient. I didn't even mind losing because the game felt so satisfying to me to play and exist in, and that is because I not only enjoyed the various mechanics, I also thoroughly enjoyed existing in the world. I really hope that this sounds intriguing to you. I hope, if nothing else, I hope that it was informative to you to help you decide, is this a good game for me? Is this a game that I should back? I personally really enjoyed the game. Even with the nitpicks and things that I want to point out for people to know to make an informed choice, I personally loved it. And I hope you do too. I can't wait for you to get a chance to play it and experience it for yourself.